So I've already done the first step, which is to basically block out my eyebrows. Now we're gonna get on to sketching a lot of things. So I'm gonna grab a black eyeliner pencil or white. Actually, let me grab white. So I'm gonna take my NYX's Jumbo eyeliner pencil in milk, and I'm going to start sketching out my mouth, the brows. This is going to be kind of like an evil clown demon thing. I still haven't figured it out yet. But yeah. Okay, so it doesn't seem like much, but it's because I really do not have any idea what I'm gonna do yet. But we'll see as we go. Now I'm gonna use my Ben Nye Professional Clown White Cream Makeup, and I'm just going to scoop this out using a metal spatula, and I'm going to use this in the back of my hand. You can obviously use a palette if you want to, but the reason why I'm using it in the back of my hand is so that the warmth can kind of like melt it so that it would apply better to my face. And you can use water activated face paints as well. I'm just using the cream because to me at least it has better coverage. Now I'm going to take my NYX's HD finishing powder and I'm going to set all of this because this is a cream, so you want to set it with a good powder or else you gonna be miserable. For the mouth, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use Mehron Paradise paints. I'm actually going to use Paradise paints for almost this whole look. And now I'm going to take the shade Mango from the Tropical palette with white, and I'm going to use this to fill in the teeth. I haven't even drawn in the teeth, huh? Okay, horrible sketch, but you get the idea. Okay, so I'm taking a mix of mango with the tiniest bit of white, and I'm going to use that to fill in the teeth. And then I'm going to take a mix of black and red Paradise paint by Mehron, and I'm going to use this to fill in the inside of the mouth, and I'm using a fine tip brush to get in between the teeth. And then I'm going to do the weirdest mix of white, red, and black to get this really pale grayish pink color, and I'm going to use that to fill in the gums. And then I'm going to use red to fill in the lips. Now the lips, I wanted these lips to be like thin at the top and then very plump and clown-like at the bottom. And then I'm going to move on to shading. So with the black eyeshadow from the palette, I'm just using this to shade inside the teeth and create the little gums. And then I'm also placing the eyeshadow on the inner corner of the mouth and then dragging it out. And this is going to give the illusion that the teeth actually curve inside of the mouth. Then I'm taking black and making the teeth look extra dirty. And then I'm going to take white and I'm going to start highlighting the teeth. And this is also the perfect chance to fix them and make them even pointier if you want. Then I'm using the exact same white to draw some really intense highlights in every single one of the gums as if they were shiny because of a lot of saliva. And also drawing little itty bitty lines of drool. Also, don't forget to highlight the lips, and I'm doing some pretty glossy lips, and then also taking the red Paradise paint to draw a cutesy clown nose. Okay, so I already did a whole bunch of stuff on one side of the face, and now I'm gonna repeat all that shenanigans on the other side. I'm taking this dark, kind of like chocolate brown eyeshadow, and I'm going to start using this to contour the face. So I'm first sort of like mapping out where I want the contours to be, and then I'm taking a fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to start blending the eyeshadow out, and that's gonna create a little bit of a shadow to make it seem as if those areas are sinking in, and the other areas are protruding up. Then taking a dark gray eyeshadow and using this to further darken up those contours. So as you can see, I have some really intense cheekbone contours, some temples, some nasolabial folds. And again, I'm just mapping out at first, and then with a fluffy blending brush, I'm just softening down the lines as much as possible. Also repeating the exact same steps for the eyes to make them look really sunken in and kind of like evil and demonic. So again, first laying down the brown eyeshadow, darkening it up with black, and then softening it up using the fluffy blending brush. Now I'm going to use a teal body paint by Mehron, and I'm going to use this to create a triangle in my eye, and then with my fingers, I'm just going to really mess this up. Just like in my Harley Quinn video, I'm just going to mess up this triangle as much as possible to make it look as if this clown has been wearing this triangle for a really long time. And then I'm repeating the exact same steps on the other eye, but this time using purple. For blush, I'm using a hot pink eyeshadow from NYX Cosmetics, and then I'm popping a little mole just because I thought it was cute. And now we're gonna highlight for eyes, honey. I'm taking the White Paradise paint and I'm going to start drawing some really intense highlights to really make sure that all these features stand out as much as possible, and to also give the face a very plasticky or porcelain type of effect, since this is a toy after all. And then to add some dirt and grime, I'm gonna water down Black Paradise paint and I'm going to spackle it with a cut down chip brush on my face, and that's gonna give me a really dirty, messy effect. And then I'm covering both my waterlines using a black bean jumbo pencil by NYX, and also dragging it along my lids, and then drawing some really intense wrinkles on my forehead because I thought this was not detailed enough. Now I'm taking a black eyeliner pencil and I'm going to sketch out the features of this creepy clown toy, and then I'm going to fill in the color using White Paradise paint and use red for the springs and then use blue for the box. Then I'm going to draw these curves on each side of the red, and this is actually going to simulate the springs underneath the fabric. And then I'm going to use Blue Paradise paint and I'm going to mix it with a tiny bit of teal, and I'm going to paint one side of the box and it's going to look like as if light is hitting that side, and then use the blue itself to paint the other side where it's going to look like no light is hitting it whatsoever from there. Then I'm using the dark gray eyeshadow and creating a line a centimeter away from the color and then dragging it up to simulate a shadow. Also taking some black eyeshadow and doing a little line an inch away from the actual edge of the color, and I'm basically creating a second piece of fabric lying on top of the color. Then I moved on to shading the springs, and what I'm doing is I'm first drawing a line and then using the flat end of the brush to kind of like soften down those lines a little bit, and then I'm using the hot black eyeshadow from NYX Cosmetics and using this to draw all the shadows because it's really freaking intense and pigmented, as you can see. And I'm placing the eyeshadow on the edge, on the side edges of the spring, and then dragging it towards the center, and it's going to give the illusion that these are actually rounded. And to highlight, I'm drawing these intense dark white highlights and then using the brush I used for the red and then lying it flat against the white and then softening down those lines. And in here I'm just creating highlights and shadows until I feel like the springs look as realistic as possible. Then I'm drawing all the shadows that are in the box, so once these springs enter the box, I'm creating a shadow there. Also, I'm shading the edges of the box as well, and then I'm using white with a little mix of yellow, and I'm using this to paint the lid. Next, I'm taking a brown eyeshadow and I'm creating the shadows that will be casted by the actual toy levitating on top of the box. Also shading the edges of the lid as well, and then with a little bit of black, I'm just darkening up those shadows a little bit more, and then moved on to creating more shadows here and there in the box. And of course, highlight for days. Okay, so now I'm taking this gold metallic powder by Graftobian and mixing it with the mixing medium to have a paint, and I'm using this to draw some details on the box. So I'm drawing some lines on the box, you know, nothing interesting here, but then I place these two dots on either side and also later on draw some more dots here and there, using the white to further highlight the springs because I didn't feel like they were highlighted and detailed enough, and also using the red on the brush to sort of soften down these lines, and then also drawing the little handle on the box. Okay, now I'm highlighting mainly the center of each of the springs to make it look as if light was hitting it from a certain angle, using the hot black eyeshadow from NYX again to shade a little bit more the sides and each of the springs, and then filling in the rest of my body using black body paint. And after that, we are done with this creepy jester toy Jack-in-the-Box thingamajig. So I really hope that you all enjoyed this makeup tutorial, and if you did, please make sure to give it a rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to check out my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the links will be down below, as well as the list of products I used in this video. I actually had so much fun creating this look for you guys. Y'all have no freaking idea. But yeah, I really hope to see you next time, and bye!